Guys, don't bug out that crypto is going down. It doesn't matter. As a day trader, we can make money whether it goes up or whether it goes down. Let me show you how in this video. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm DD. Sorry about the hoarse voice. I hope it comes through okay. I'm just have a sore throat. Don't worry, it's not COVID. And I'm seeing that everyone is just like bugging out, like on the internet. Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the crypto is going down, and there's a lot of fear. But as a day trader, we don't need the market to go up in order to make money. We can make money whether the market goes up or goes down. So let's get into the charts and let me show you a really easy strategy that has really been working for me, specifically on Ethereum over the past couple of weeks. So I'm gonna start with ETH USDT, which is Ethereum Classic. If you don't know, Ethereum actually kind of divided into two different coins. There was an argument on the blockchain exactly how it's going to work with the rules and the smart contracts. So there's kind of like two Ethereum coins now. There's ETC, which is Ethereum Classic, and there's also ETH, which is the Ethereum that most people know. So I'm just noticing that, as the market has been going down after the big bull rush, so it's starting to make these patterns of these ranges, which are kind of very tradable. And if you just know how to mark off a range, then you just want to trade the tops and the bottoms. And it's not that simple, but let's get into it over here. So here we are on a 4-hour chart on ETC USDT. And I'm noticing there's a high here and the second high and a low. So I didn't print the rectangle yet, but I'm just keeping in mind that I have a high here, two highs and a low. And then it did break this box, but it didn't break it with an actual candle, which means it was like a fake out. The market never closed above that price, at least on the 4-hour. And if you look on the 1-hour, which we will soon, you'll see that it did go up, but it was immediately pushed down within those 4 hours, right? So once we have the tops and the bottoms, then we could make this range. Now, the market did, push down, and as ETC was going down, but it made a very, very bullish type of candle. This wick over here is a big sign to us, which shows that the market did push down, but it didn't stay down at all, so it doesn't want to stay down. And then once it started to come back up even more, back into the range, and then test it over here, then I was getting interested. So let's go back down to the 1-hour chart. Once the price came back into the range, and then look how it tested it over there. So that shows me I'm not going to get in over here just after this candle, because then I need to place my stop way below that candle, which is going to be a very deep stop. And because I always go for a 2-to-1 ratio, I always risk half of what my reward is going to be. So therefore, I'm going to need to go for a very big profit in order to have such a big stop loss, which I don't want to do. So I waited for it to get back into the range, and then it went back in and it actually tested it. So I didn't get in over here, which maybe could have been okay to get in over here, but I did get in once it broke this high. After that candle that broke this high over here, I got in. And I was a little tight with my stop loss because I wanted to go for that 2-to-1 ratio. And I was a little bit scared over here that it wouldn't pass these highs, even though this was the top of the range here and it broke here. But I was noticing that there was like a new top forming over here, which is kind of like a mini range within the range. And we'll see how these happen. So I want to go for the 2-to-1, which is how I always trade, but I didn't want to have to pass this resistance. So I was a little bit tight with my stop and it didn't work out. It did break through, but eventually it did hit my stop over here. So that was a $500 loss because I was risking $500 to make $1,000. But you could see within a few hours it did break through. So it didn't work that time because I was a little bit tight with my stop loss, but it did kind of work. And you see how this range is holding. Then it kind of pushed up even more after breaking the range. And eventually this could be even another little range, but it started to make this other range. Now in this range, I think I did a little bit better. So here were the highs. And again, we're only seeing this after the fact, but I didn't know that these were going to be the prices until that's there. But I'm just trying to show you that here would be a high and then here's another high. So you got to take that into consideration. And then here's a low and here's another low. So maybe at first this was my range and then it hit over here. So now we're seeing here's a high, here's another high, low, low, another low, and I didn't go for anything over here. Broke the range, but immediately was pushed back. Pushed back so hard that it went down even more than these lows. And it started to make a new low. So that's something to take into consideration. And here's the second time that it made a low. Now, after it made this second low, and I have these highs over here, which would be like this one and this one. So I wanted to get in. I wanted to get in and I didn't want to lose my chance of getting in where I see that it was going to go long and I would miss my chance. So I kind of waited for it to pass this resistance and it kind of did, and then tested it and I got back in and went for the 2 to 1, which would be within the range, and it didn't work out again. So this one also didn't work out. This was all the way back in the beginning of December. And, you know, to be honest, I think I was holding a little bit too long over here. I kind of like thought that it would go up, you know, like most crypto people do. They think it's going to go up, and I also did, and maybe I didn't need to take another full loss. But then it started to get better for me. So that was, you know, two ranges, and like now I'm down $1,000, okay? Then, later on in the month, I saw the development of another range. This is, you know, just in December. This is like 10 days ago. And here's the tops, and we see some bottoms over here. This is what I was talking about, that sometimes there are like mini ranges or mini support lines and mini resistance lines within a range. But it's important to know that the top of the range and the bottom of the range are definitely support lines because you see them. And then there's also other supports within the range. So I noticed there was a lot of touches over here, and this was seriously a resistance point. And it did end up holding and breaking all the way down and creating this low. And then another time it hit the low. And again, these are 1 hour candles over here. So this is serious. Like, most people are seeing this, not just scalpers who are going at 5-minute charts. And then it kind of went up and went back down a little bit lower over here. And then even again had that low. So now I'm speculating that this is a low, or maybe this is a low. So I'm going to keep both of them in mind. And now I have a top of a range, and maybe also this is a spot over here, right over here. This could be the top, but this is definitely a top. So this could be one mini range over here, and this could be another range, but you could look at it as one range also. And here's a double bottom. I like to go off the double or triple bottoms. And then once it came down over here, then I was looking to get long over here, because you had this support line which held. Okay, it did break it 2 times, but it never like really broke it, because it broke it here and it pushed really high. So there was definitely buyers at this point. Pushed down here and went up again. Now, after it held again, support over here, and went up even more, then I was ready to get in. I wanted it to see it break this, because I was a little bit afraid that it would push even lower here, and I didn't want to have to cover so low. So I kind of waited for it to go to this point over here at 34.33. And then I went long, covering under this, and eventually it just did go up, because it's going to go to the top of the range. And that was my first win. So now it's kind of like break even. I had 2 losses at 500, and this one was a 2 to 1 win. So this was $1,000. And the market did continue at the range. And then it hit the top of the range. And this was cool, because it broke through the range, but you see that was not a good breakthrough. Like, it didn't go far, and it was pushed down immediately. So I wanted to go short right here, because I thought that this was not a real breakthrough. So I kind of waited for it to go back into the range. And to me, this is somewhat of a double top, Here's one top and the other top. And I like to get back into the range over there. And it went into the range and came very, very close to my 2-to-1. And I had to get out over here once it pulled up to here. So I moved my stop to about this point because I thought it was going to keep on going down, and why hold it all the way back here? This was enough for a stop. I trailed it a little bit, and I did get stopped out for about, I think that was a 250 loss or a 325. But, so this took a lot of guts. I was still holding on, thinking that it's going to go back in, especially after it did break the range, but then it just, again, didn't go. And this could be looked at maybe on the 4-hour as even more of like a double top. Let me just show you here. So here's like one top and here's the double top, you know? Like this could be looked at as like kind of like one top, and here's the second top. So I actually shorted it again. And let's go back to the 1-hour. And this is something that I recommend you be very careful with, because you don't want to get into a trade just because you were proven wrong. Like I had reason to believe that, according to my method, that I'm trading the tops of the ranges and the bottom of the ranges, that it was going to go down. Now, I did lose in that first one, but as I saw that it was a failure again to break and went back into the range, I really thought that it was going to hold. And if I lose again, I lose again. But you have to know yourself and what's your method. To get into two trades going the same way right after each other, that could be dangerous waters. So you need to know your trader's mindset and how that works for you. But I did get back in, and once it broke into the range, I went in and it totally fell, you know, to get to 2-to-1. So here I was sitting at, I was negative 325, and then I won 1,000. So I was at like 675 then. And then it went down to the bottom of the range, eventually, made another couple of lows. So here's one low and here's another low. And once it pulled up after that low, I got in, and this one made it almost all the way again. I'm very like a stickler with, you know, the 2-to-1, like that's what I go for. I mean, I'll trail the price action. I'm very comfortable that that 2-to-1 method works for me. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But this time I thought that this would be a new place to put the stop loss. And then, you know, it was kind of breaking up, and I thought it would go even more, but it didn't. And I got out over there, and I was about at $1,000, and you know, that's where we stand now. Now let me show you regular Ethereum, ETH, USDT. So this is cool to notice. If you look here on the charts, you'll see that I'm drawing these channels. These channels are very effective now in Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these ranging crypto markets, because we're expecting them to go up. A lot of people want them to go up. Why are they so low now? And they keep on going down. So they're kind of like going up and going down, and it looks like it's going up. So I think that these channels are really like working right now. And I'll show you how I think that it's going to happen now that Bitcoin and Ethereum actually went even lower today, like a big drop. I think it's going to work in the future too. So I'll show you that towards the end of the video. But this is, again, a 4-hour chart. And you see, here's these highs and here's the lows. And this is like an ascending range. So let's just go down to the 1-hour chart. So at this point, I'm noticing just one high. Here's even higher highs. I didn't know anything yet. But once it printed this, I had all these lows. So I wanted to go to this high. So you have, again, you see this dotted line is kind of like, these are lows. Like I mentioned before, there's kind of like some support line and then even a lower support line. You have to keep both of those support lines or resistance points in mind. So when it hit the low a third time, 1, 2, 3, and it broke past this mini support line, then I was going to go towards this high, which I did. And that was a good one. It made it all the way to the top, and that was another $1,000. And you see like how I'm doing it, guys. This was the low. I'm covering under the bottom of this low. And I'm waiting for it to break above this support line to show that it's serious. It's not just going to go down and then come up a little, but just be a retest on the descent even more. No, I want to make sure that it really is going to come up. And that's the only tough part of this strategy, is that like you want to make sure that after it hits the support, it's going to push up, and it really is going to push up. So you want to make sure it's far enough away from the bottom of the range going up, or far enough away from the top of the range going down. But once it's too far, then you don't have a lot of room towards the other side of the range. So that's the intricate point that you need to practice and get good at, to see, oh, now it is moving away from the bottom and it's ready to go up, but I still have room to trade up. And especially if you're going for something like 2 to 1, or even 1.5 to 1, or 3 to 1, that's even harder. You got to be a real expert. But I'm just going for 2 to 1 over here. So I waited for it to break past these lows, because there were an ascending low over here, and I wasn't sure which one is the bottom of the channel. So once it did, it actually totally followed with my plan and went all the way to the top. Now, once we printed a second high over here, you know, again, this is just a wick, which didn't really break it. So I'm making that channel. I'm always looking to make these channels. And it did not break this channel. So once it broke past this support line over here with that candle over there, then I'm ready to trade down. And this one kind of took a long time, but it eventually did go all the way down and gave me that 2.1. And that was around a little bit after Christmas. I remember over here, I was a little bit scared to go in so close to Christmas, but I don't know how really crypto works over Christmas. I remember in Forex, it's just totally dead, but crypto's just, there's always people trading crypto. So, you know, I was going to take the risk over here, especially to stay in a range makes more sense over the holidays than to break out of a range. So since we failed to break out of the range and it's the holiday, I have a lot more confidence that the market is going to continue after the rejection to go back down than to try to break out of a range that we haven't really broken out of in a long time. So this did kind of take a while. It was 90 bars, that's, you know, 3 days, but eventually it did hold. And then this is the interesting part, and this is what I think is going to happen again. Kind of went down and made another channel. And over here you'll see I have another dotted line, which could be the top, or maybe this is the top once it printed that second one. And once we had the two lows, this is like a double bottom for me, a double bottom on the bottom of a channel. You know, these are the two bottoms, and I like to go long when I see a double bottom in the bottom of the channel. So once it had that second one and I saw that there was a real rejection and printed this huge bullish engulfing candle, so I'm ready to get in, and I got my 2 to 1 and go all the way another $1,000. Then it kind of broke over here, and it didn't break the range. It hit the top of the range, or it was like a wicked candle on the top of this dotted line. So once we had a bearish engulfing candle, I'm ready to get back in over here and consider that the market is going to be in this channeled range, and that's what it was. And eventually it did break out, and it was yesterday that it totally broke out. And this is what I think is going to happen again. Here we are, and you see already, let's just go to the 4 hour. Markets repeat themselves. So we had this range going up and a push down, and now we had this range going up, this channel, and push down. So I'm just very interested to see if the market is going to go like this, and then like this, and then like this, and then like this, something like that. And I'm going to just mark my trend lines and start to trade like this. And I don't care if the market is going down. If I have my positions in Bitcoin or in Ethereum, that's great. But I want to make sure that I'm day trading. I'm not investing over here. Investing is something else, and I don't have any bias. If the market wants to go down, I'm going to go down with it. And if the market wants to go up, I'm going to go up with it. And that's what I'm going to do in these channels or in these ranges, and it's working. And these are the strategies that I teach in my course, guys. These double bottoms and double tops, and how to appreciate market structure. Don't only look for the, oh, now the market's, you know, breaking up and it's going to go up and Bitcoin's back and Ethereum's back and we're crypto maniacs. That's not important for us. We want to just go with the market structure and see how the market is at this moment and trade it like it is now. And we have to keep our trader's mindset. We have to understand risk, always going for the 2-to-1, as you saw I was in all these trades. And I made about $5,000 in about 7 trades over here. So it's doing pretty well for me. And if you guys want to trade like this, then, check the description below. I have a free course now. I'm teaching these strategies to my subscribers. All you got to do is subscribe, register for the course, helpwithtrading.com, and you'll learn how to trade like this. It's really simple. It's not that hard. And we just have to appreciate and understand market structure and keep our risk management, and things just work out. Okay, guys, trade like this. See you next time. DD out.